Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. Allincrypto here, and today we are going to be sharing with you guys 5 more altcoins that have broken out of their bases, their stage 1s, and are now in stage 2, which is an uptrending stage, which means that they're likely to be going higher. We're going to be sharing these 5 altcoins with you in this video. We will start as we did on the last one, where we identified 5 other altcoins that have broken out and have now actually gone higher since we mentioned them. We will be starting by looking at what stage analysis, a little bit of an introduction. We're going to show you some other charts in regards to Bitcoin and Injective, which were 2 cryptocurrencies we were looking and using stage analysis for, that ultimately we've seen play out to the upside, and we've seen that stage 2 continue. So that's where we're going to be starting the video off. We're going to not waste any time. We're going to be getting straight into it, and we are going to be bringing up the chart of Injective. Now, Injective is essentially on this chart where these altcoins that we're going to point out today currently are at. And we're going to show you what happened with Injective. The area of resistance and the base that we were looking at was this double bottom with your clear resistance here that then flipped into support, which is very textbook. Typically, when you break a key level of significance, when you break a trend line, when you break a wedge pattern, when you break resistance, you typically find it again or once again as support. You get a retest. It's that second chance. It's that gift that the markets give you. The markets love you. The markets certainly love me. And that's how we've been able to, using traditional technical analysis, get this market so accurate, certainly with getting back into the market in 2023. And today we are sat very pretty for what we believe is going to be a spectacular time for the cryptocurrency space. So let's go ahead. Let's take the draw off and see, remember this base, just how this progresses, and then we'll be relating this to the altcoins and where they're currently at. This is just a great example of what was a stage 1 breaking out into a stage 2 on volume. It's not the biggest amount of volume, but it is certainly elevated, certainly 2x the previous one. And then we see the kind of path that it then goes on to. So let's go ahead and play this. You can see you get the break. This is where these altcoins are today. Most of them are broke. They're in this kind of retest area. You can see you then set up broader structure. In the form of an inverse head and shoulders, kind of like where Bitcoin's at today, before you then take it again on volume, which you'll notice, you'll see the volume upticking down here. You don't quite get the retest, indicating that this is a bullish chart, and you can see we all know the story of Injective and where it's up today. And I ultimately think Injective is setting up here for some continuation. We have a higher target for Injective that we do think is going to get met. Let's talk about Bitcoin and show you another example. This was the base that we were looking at for Bitcoin, which formed our inverse head and shoulders that gave us that 52k target back in 2023. And now we're looking at a bigger head and shoulders target taking us to 150k. Bitcoin is relevant for the entire market because it is still that tide that rises and sinks all ships. And altcoins typically won't do too well if Bitcoin isn't. And we're going to look at where Bitcoin dominance is at, which is, in my opinion, likely to roll over and fall, which means Bitcoin's going to be doing well, because if it wasn't, Bitcoin dominance would be gaining because altcoins would sell off to more of a degree. We'll also look at others' dominance, which is everything outside the top 10, which all of these cryptocurrencies are. And then we'll look at ETH BTC, which is kind of predicting a pretty good time for the altcoin market. So you can see this is where Bitcoin's kind of base was. There was an inverse head and shoulders in here. It could be a double bottom. It could be an inverse head and shoulder. Markets typically go up and down in a similar fashion. They typically base in a similar fashion. They top in a similar fashion, and they uptrend in a similar fashion. And we can cover all that, I guess, in later videos. And if you want to learn stage analysis, do check out the Patreon and look to become a patron. You'll also unlock my entire crypto holding. So let's see how this played out. You can see break on volume. You come back for not just 1, but 2 retests in Bitcoin's case. It did have us a little bit, I guess, on the ropes, kind of, because it's common to get 1 retest. It is, I guess, less common to get 2 retests, but we still expected it to be a retest. And ultimately, we know the story with how things have progressed for Bitcoin. You can see we then ran into our first target, which we smashed through. We then consolidate around our technical target, a key level of significant. We form that right shoulder, and then we actually take it. And let's discuss the 5 altcoins that we have for you before we dive into where altcoins are at more broadly. And the first one that I want to show you guys is Helium. Now, I actually do have and have covered Helium in a video coming out later on today, where we look at deep-in network projects. So there's a number of areas in deep-in. There's storage, there's compute, there's network, and we actually look at the network side of deep-in a video that's coming out later on today. So do stay tuned for that. But you can see, again, Very, very textbook. You've got your double bottom here. You'll have a bullish divergence present, just like we did for Bitcoin, which was one of our early indicators back at 15, 16K to get back into the market. And you can see you've broken here on volume, and now you are starting the ascent. So this is an uptrending market, and you expect continuation until you come back below your support levels. And the fact that this actually didn't come down for a retest or a good retest is a very bullish sign, kind of like what you saw with Helium up here, or sorry, Injective up here. So Helium is altcoin number uno. You can see on volume, very, very textbook, this entire thing. The next one that I want to talk to you guys about is Oasis Network, also known as Rose. And you can see what we're looking at here. You get the break on volume. So this is the kind of resistance that we're looking at. Resistance, you can see you deviate from it here. You did have a little run at it here on volume, quite a positive sign. You deviate back below it, and then you break into it. You kind of ascend into it. See, you basically do get the retest over here. Doesn't quite get as far down to it, and then you turn around. This is a chart, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, that is now going higher in the same manner that Bitcoin and Injective did that we showed you at the start of the video. So this is your stage 1 base, and you are now in stage 2, having broke out of it. You will also have on the weekly time frame, I am sure, no, you didn't actually get you did get a slight bullish divergence here, but only slight. All that's showing you is that the downtrend, or whatever trend you're in, when you start to get those divergences, being it bearish or bullish, is subject to change. People overcomplicate the hell out of technical analysis. This is why we champion stage analysis. This is why we teach very simple things, because it makes it easy to understand and it works. You don't need to overcomplicate things. Certainly overcomplicating things for the sake of them not even working in the first place. You know, these people have the perfect tops and bottoms and all this nonsense. It doesn't quite work like that. Although with the technical analysis we do, you know, sometimes people are a little bit sus about it just because of how accurate it is. But we can teach this, we can prove it over time, and we do on the channel. So the first one that we covered was Helium. Second one that we covered is Oasis Network, which also goes as Rose. The next one, which I'm sure is going to be a bit of a fan favorite, is Vechain. Now, this was a project we were very bullish on. It did well for us in the last cycle, but again, you can see the same thing is taking place. This is your stage 1 base. Do you have a bullish divergence present here? Yes, you do. It shows you this trend is subject to change, and since then you've progressed. These are early warning signs that the downtrend is going to progress. You have broken here on volume. Now, it's not impressive volume, and that's because I think the majority of volume hasn't actually occurred on Binance, but Coinbase. Look at the volume you're seeing here. And this was the breakout candle. So this candle was on the 12th of Feb. If we go back to Binance, you can see 12th of Feb candle. This is where the breakout occurred. This is going higher, in my opinion. This is now in an uptrend. So you've got Helium in an uptrend. You've got Rose in an uptrend. You've got Vechain in an uptrend. You've got the overall cryptocurrency market, by the way, just to show you that very quickly, in an uptrend. You've got Bitcoin going up. You've got crypto stocks going up. There's a number of things that we use to correlate, you know, again, stage analysis, resistance, broke, now an uptrend, and you expect continuation. And you can see all done on volume, very, very textbook. So I've shown you Helium, which is now in an uptrend. We've shown you Rose Network, or Oasis, which goes by Rose. Vechain is now in an uptrend. We could derive technical targets, but for the sake of this video, we're just going to focus on these charts being in an uptrend. The next one that we have for you is Illuvium. So this is, or Illuvium, this is a gaming project. In my opinion, this is now a broken out chart. You can see you did get this break on volume. Remember, these altcoins are very volatile and skittish. You have got a double bottom present, but this, in my opinion, is now in an uptrend. I think you've cleared resistance at this point, and you're now sort of slipped through it. There'll probably be some sort of a falling wedge-esque pattern here, just straight off the bat. Something like that. It's not too clear. But this is ultimately a chart, in my opinion, that has also broken out and is now looking for that continuation. And if you're an Alliotician, you'd look at something like 1, 2, and be expecting a third wave for this. So this is a chart that's going high. I do think gaming is going to be a big narrative in 2024, and you're likely going to have that breakout game. So you've got Illuvium, you've got Vechain, you've got Rose Network, and you've got Helium. So they are 4. The 5th and final one that we're going to be giving you guys is Uniswap. Now, Uniswap, I think this pumped off of the news that they're going to start sharing their fees generated by the protocol with the holders. This is always the plan, by the way. This isn't new news. If you've been following the crypto space for as long as I had, I took part in the early Uniswap days, one of the first people to use it. You can see you have a clear support, resistance, 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 deviation of resistance, resistance, and then you have a break on volume. Very, very textbook. Now, whether you get the retest or not is still to be seen. And you've basically just ran into resistance. So you're just really playing level to level. You can see all this resistance over here, or support, now flipped as resistance. You'll likely set up and take this just like the examples that we saw for Injective and BTC. So we've shown you 5 altcoins in this video. To kind of compound all of this, if we take a look at where Bitcoin dominance is at, we do believe that Bitcoin dominance is about to roll. Now, Bitcoin dominance doesn't typically roll until into the bull market. So you can see this is the points where Bitcoin dominance rolls. You can see the market progresses. This is the total market cap in blue over it. I think we're at that stage now today where Bitcoin dominance is set to roll. And one swallow does not a summer make. One chart does not a summer make, in my opinion. And you can see that this has invalidated its uptrend and is likely now looking for downside, which means that Bitcoin's going to be doing well, because if Bitcoin wasn't doing well, the altcoins wouldn't be. But altcoins are going to be outperforming. We also have the likes of others' market cap dominance. So this is everything outside the top 10s, which all of these cryptos are. And I believe the ones that we showed you the other day were, you can see smaller head and shoulders played to a bigger level, formed a bigger head and shoulders, you break, you retest. This is now looking to move to 20%, which suggests altcoins are going to do well. Also, you have ETH BTC, which is in a symmetrical triangle that we believe is going to break to the upside. And ultimately, that kind of backs the case that we're giving for these altcoins. The total market cap's nearly at 2 trillion. You know, we've been absolutely spot on with these markets, and it's thanks to things like stage analysis and basic technical analysis. And we're here to share that with you guys, share some of the cryptocurrency projects that are now moving. If you want to unlock my entire portfolio, you want to learn stage analysis for yourself, do consider becoming a Patreon, because we can teach you guys how to do this. And I'm a big believer in regard to teaching people to fish and not just giving them the fish, so they can go on throughout their life, hopefully reaping the rewards that the markets have to offer. Guys, that's all I've got for you in this video. If you've enjoyed the content, like is appreciated, so a comment. Remember, the altcoins that we gave were Helium, Oasis Network, which goes by Rose, the ticker, Vechain, which is VET, Illuvium, ILV, and Uniswap. That's all I've got for you in this video, guys. If you enjoyed the content, like is appreciated, so a comment, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching. See you in the next.